Welcome back to Dragon Ball New Age. We finally get the story as to why why he hates Vegeta so much and why he's created this entire plan to come to Earth, challenge Vegeta with an unknown and probably unstable Saiyan form, all because of revenge. But the first thing he talks about is how Vegeta, kind of like beat him up as a child, but he's mad about revenge. He needs his revenge quenched, and that's exactly what he's going to do. So we're getting a timeline. This event happened a year after the Planet Palm incident, and the Planet Palm incident, for you guys that don't remember, is again when Vegeta, he beat him up as a kid because he was speaking out of turn, basically, and Vegeta was the squad leader. And if you guys remember how much of a menace little kid Vegeta was, well, then you understand why this guy's honor was completely hurt. So it has to do with his mother. This person right here, the one that we saw in the last chapter at the end that was covered in blood and that he had blood on his hands from, that was his mother, and she was a elite Saiyan that worked under Vegeta, under King Vegeta. Oh, okay. See, I already knew that Rigor was Vegeta's brother, but yeah, I can see now that it's probably a half-brother type of situation that we got going on here, because I'm sure that she was working under him for quite some time. So the story begins like this. Sapari lives with Rigor and his family, or at least his mother. So she either is a family friend's kid, could be an orphan, the way that the Saiyan mortality rate is pretty, it's pretty high. So he was basically in a healing chamber, similar to what we saw on planet Namek and the one that the Frieza Force has because of a broken arm. His mom was off planet. She was on a mission on her own. And so once he got out of the pod, they went to go see a family friend who is none other than, that is absolutely Gine. I can already see the original pink armor. Remember the one that before we found out exactly what color her armor was, it was like bright pink from all the fan artists. Like that's the way they drew her. But they went to go see her, but when they got home, something was wrong, and this is the beginning of the story of why Rigor needs his revenge. There was a Saiyan warrior at their house. Now it's not saying what he was doing there. Just as a side note, this guy looks pretty cool. I like it almost looks like an animal kind of cut his face in like thirds, I guess, like the way that he's scratched here. So I like the design of this like unknown Saiyan warrior, but like it doesn't exactly say why he's there. It just says that he started attacking the children, or the children attacked him for breaking into their house. But they weren't strong enough, obviously, they're children. But once Sapari got hit, that's when Rigor saw red, which I'm assuming means that like he literally saw red, like his eyes turned red, similar to his newfound transformation. And when he finally came to, he was told that he killed the man in one blow. He completely unalived this guy relatively easily once he was in this transformation. So once he killed him, his mother she ran into their house. She's beaten, she's bloody, because she's saying that her squad ended up turning on her, which is actually a pretty cool story in and of itself. I honestly wouldn't mind seeing an entire fan manga made of the mom. The mom actually looks like a badass warrior, and honestly, she looks like her story, at least in the Saiyan world, is just as interesting as this revenge story in the post-Dragon Ball GT world. But apparently they're saying that she betrayed the king. We don't know why she betrayed the king, but Vegeta is kind of like taken aback as to like this hidden lore on his planet that he had no idea of, and then he starts thinking, so maybe he knows a little bit more about the betrayal of his mother to the king, and that's kind of what he's thinking about. So normally I would be on the side that if she's like doing this much to run away, then she's probably guilty of something. But then I do remember the fact that the soldier was at their house and attacked her children and tried to kill them. So if he hadn't like transformed, I guess, or mid-transformed or false transformed, then he would have died, him and Sapari. So she ends up trying to escape, or at least get them off planet, by hijacking some Saiyan pods and getting them off world, which would make sense as to why they would have survived Frieza's destruction. But she was caught in the middle of the act by more Saiyans, and literally Saiyans don't seem to have any sort of justice system whatsoever. It is hard out here in these streets on planet Vegeta, because if you are told that you have committed conspiracy to be a traitor to the king or something along those lines, it seems like their initial reaction is kill first, ask questions later, maybe. Don't even imprison. Like, they literally try to kill her and kill her family. So it's like wipe the entire bloodline if you do this, which is a pretty harsh statement, honestly. She kind of got the raw end of the deal, but she stands fast because she understands that she cannot hold them all off and leave at the same time. Like, she needs to give her kids, or at least, you know, Rigger and Sapari, some time to get a head start, and she's going to hold them off on her own. Rigger says that he attempted to get out of the pod to help fight, and honestly, the way that his eyes turned red and just going into that transformation, he may have killed a few of them, but an entire planet of Saiyans, or at least an entire army or military guard or squads that are being sent after them, like, he probably couldn't kill enough before his transformation wore out. Remember, he's still a kid, so she ends up just launching them into space and staying behind to face the hordes of Saiyans coming through the gates, and basically sacrificing herself for Rigger and Sapari. Before they launched off, she was shot in the back in cold blood, and I can already see where this is going. And the fact that Vegeta would forget about this situation, like, the traitor Saiyan that like, how many traitor Saiyans do you have in your own lifetime when you're like a little kid that you forget like this important moment in your life because this person was trying to kill your father, or at least, you know, betray the father in some aspect, some way? So how could he have forgotten this? I mean, this already looks really bad for Vegeta, to be honest. And yep, there is the culprit right there, mini Vegeta, and he's actually sporting, like, I'm pretty sure these are blue, but if this is just straight up black with the black long sleeves, almost like a turtleneck kind of thing, it actually looks pretty sleek on him. Not gonna lie, I'm not gonna hold you, this actually looks pretty good. And yeah, Vegeta kind of, he kind of needs to eat this one, I think, because if this is exactly how things went down, then Rigger has every single right, 110%, to come down to planet Earth and challenge a Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta and finish him. Completely finish him. It doesn't mean he wants to destroy the planet, although, I mean, if we're, you know, if this is going to be lasting a while, he may want to destroy the planet and destroy everything that Vegeta holds dear instead of just killing him. But yeah, Vegeta definitely owes him something. And it looks like his transformation it looks like it's evolving, and it's darkening his eyes. He's getting far more intense. And yeah, Vegeta's in for a world of pain here. But again, I feel for Rigger, and if this is exactly how it went down, I think Vegeta does need to pay. So Trunks feels the pressure coming from this battlefield, and he's like, enough is enough. Like, I can't just sit back and watch my old man, like, not even give him any backup, really. Like, come on. Can't be doing all that. So I'm hoping that first of all, this sleek look for Trunks is fantastic. He looks like a combination of a businessman and Trunks from the future. He almost looks like a hitman, kind of. I like it. I'm digging it, and I'm hoping that he can go Super Saiyan 4. I'm hoping a lot of them can go Super Saiyan 4 and not just Vegeta, because they need, like, everybody on deck, all hands on deck for this one. But I'm glad that he realizes, like, he needs to step in and save his father, or help his father. I mean, not save him, but help him. So Goten excuses himself, and this girl's name is Palace. So again, more hidden lore for this female character who I don't know who this is, and I'm hoping we find out more information. But it just sounds like she's kind of like ditzy, because she's, you know, she's being told here by this kid as Goten's leaving to go use the bathroom that he's gonna go number 2, and she has no idea what number 2 means. So yeah, she's extra special. But Goten dips, and that's exactly what I want to see. I want to see the Saiyans on Earth having each other's back, and he literally just is like, sorry Palace, but I'll make it up to you. So he's never gonna come back, which is kind of shitty. He should have just told her, like, hey, I gotta go, I got a family emergency or something along those lines. That probably would have been going along better than just leaving her at the movie theaters for her to just sit there and wait for him at the bathroom, you know, like, and be like, why did he just leave? But, you know, he realizes that the importance of him trying to show up here for Vegeta, because Rigger is there's ooze or there's black ki. It almost looks like a Materasu from Naruto. Like it's oozing out of his ki. So it's probably something like a really high power level or a really unstable one, and everybody needs to jump in and do their part. Vegeta doesn't know what the hell is going on. He doesn't know what kind of power this is. He's never felt anything like this before. Could this be the legendary Super Saiyan power that is in Dragon Ball New Age? Because we don't have DBS Broly in here, so this could be that version of it, like almost like a Yamashi type of power. But Sappari has seen this before, and she's running into action because she realizes that it's very, very unstable for him to get into this type of power. So I mean, the only thing I can think of is that if he gets into this power, it could kill him, but I'm assuming that it probably unleashes like a supernova destroying the planet or something. So Vegeta is realizing firsthand how important Sappari is to him. She's basically Black Widow, and this is the Hulk. Like, she is trying to whisper him back to reality, and he's struggling, but he's seeing her, and this is a childhood friend slash his wife. So of course he's trying to listen to her and, you know, come back to us. So Vegeta is finally realizing that he does have a weak point just like him. And whether he uses that to exploit it in this battle, I hope he doesn't. I hope he just takes his licks or tries to get stronger to face off against him or whatever. Or hopefully Goku comes in at some point and tries to, you know, they do a 2v1, something along those lines. But Sappari's trying to bring Rigger back before he erupts. And just like that, Sappari brings him back, something that Vegeta is flabbergasted. Like, look at his face. His face is of a dude like, what the hell just happened? And Sappari gives Rigger some good advice that the longer you drag this on, the more worked up you will get, and the more likely you will be, you know, going into whatever transformation that was. And so Rigger is like, you know what, you're right. As always, like let's clean this up quickly, because I've drugged this out for far too long. So Mr. Popo decides that it's time to get Goku. Enough is enough, and he radios the Supreme or the Elder Kai and tries to get him to relay a message that Vegeta may fall in this fight on Earth if he fights alone. We need Goku here. Or at least you should let Goku know that his best pal, is about to meet his maker. And Goku is back from the dragon. Like, Goku's not off on some distant universe or whatever from Dragon Ball GT. So he is on the Elder Kai planet. He's on the Supreme Kai planet, and he's destroying the place because he's training with Oob, I'm assuming. So we probably will be seeing Goku here or back here soon, because he's definitely not going to want to miss an opportunity to fight Rigger on his own. So Mr. Popo reaches out to Goku and gets him, basically. I mean, for the most part, there's going to be probably like a chapter or so before Goku comes back, but Piccolo, surprisingly, he answers the call. Whether he's strong enough to even do anything, I don't know. This is like a very underpowered. This is not DBS Piccolo whatsoever. This is a much more weaker Piccolo. So let's see what Piccolo has to offer in this fight. I mean, this fight even has Pan like wondering, like, should I join in? Should I not join in? I mean, she's got the right idea. She will get in the way if she does, but still, at least she's thinking about it. Bro, we go back to the battlefield and we don't even get to see like Vegeta putting up more of a fight. Like, he just gets thrown to the wayside, and like Rigger's like hovering above him at a very questionable level. Like, and the shit talking continues. He says, you know how hard it is to imagine as I stand here now that at one time you seemed like darkness incarnate to me. So he always knew that Vegeta always loomed heavy over his head because Vegeta was the one that killed his mother. But he, you know, he played Vegeta bigger in his head than what it was. Imagine if Vegeta like never got any of the transformations and he was just like basically Scouter Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z, like the early Z saga, like, and he didn't get any stronger without meeting Goku. This would have been like over already like 3 chapters ago. And this is why they brought up the whole Planet Palm thing, was because like those words that Vegeta said stuck in Rigger's head the entire time, because he always thought that Vegeta was always stronger than him. So it would be different if Vegeta did kill his mother and he didn't have that Planet Palm incident in the back of his mind, because they actually had an interaction where Vegeta kicked his ass. But yeah, that happened. So it feels far more personal, especially if Vegeta knew that that was his mom. And to be honest, at this point right now, like, Rigger's doing the world a favor. He's going to rid the universe of Vegeta. I mean, Vegeta's not a bad guy anymore, but he's done bad things. He's like, the chickens have come home to roost, and he's like, I'm going to be sending you to the afterlife so you can go ahead and say hi to your dad, your black-hearted dad, and that way his mother's soul can be at rest. I wonder when Vegeta is gonna pull out like, wait, we got Dragon Balls, okay? Let's not get too hasty here. We can always wish back your mom. And without warning, a blast literally smothers Rigger. But look how cool the impact frame of this blast is. Definitely the best panel, or the best panel I would say in this chapter. Look at the blast radius. It's like literally covering him head to toe, and it just looks so goddamn cool. I love it. And Vegeta's blocking like the light coming from it or whatever. Like he's just like, no, you know, try not to get the light in his eyes or whatever from it, but it looks really cool. Like these impact frames are it. And Vegeta takes his opportunity to scurry away. He literally like does like a full get out of the way and lunges away from the scene, away from the cloud, because now somebody else has Rigger's attention. But before we find out who it is, let me know in the comment section below who you think it is. I mean, if you've seen this story before, you already know who it is. I'm thinking it's Piccolo, because I don't think it'd be Goten or Trunks, because those are the three that we saw. It would be really interesting if it was Goku, if he got there that fast and he was just like, hey best buddy, I'm here to save your ass. And it's Piccolo, which probably not what Vegeta wanted to see, because Piccolo's not stronger than Vegeta, so like how much can he actually help? But at least he landed without, you know, without Sapari being able to track him, but that's probably because he can hide his power level. And Rigger's kind of surprised, like, Vegeta has a champion, like you're fighting for him, and he's like, no. And then he's like, wait, are you his friend? Vegeta's got friends? What? And one is not a Saiyan, like one's a Namekian. Like this is probably like the weirdest friend that you would think Vegeta to have, somebody who conquered planets of aliens before. But no, the squad rolls up, baby. That's the squad right there. Look at them. That's awesome. I love that. That's a good shot too. That's a really good shot. I like the artwork on this. I'm hoping that, because I think that it stops at a certain point. I think there's only like 13 chapters in this, but I'm hoping that that we keep going with it. Malik keeps adding more to the story. But yeah, this looks really good. Even just from a art perspective, like it's extremely clean and professional looking. This is funny. So Trunks calls Vegeta dad, and Rigger's like, another child. Like what? He's got, how many kids this guy got? That's crazy. Like, man, Vegeta came to this random planet and started sowing his seed. Like he's got a bunch of kids over here, man. But I think that Rigger is going to start seeing that Vegeta's not the monster that he thought he was. He's got kids. He's got friends. He's had a whole life on this planet. So Rigger, I mean, he's kind of being an asshole right here, even though he's justified in wanting his revenge. I do like the fact that Rigger is making it completely clear that this is a matter between men. This is basically a duel. This is between me and Vegeta. And if anybody gets in the way, then I will go through you. And he says he will feel no guilt about it whatsoever, because this is just something that he needs. This is a toll that needs to be collected. So the way this panel is set up on the bottom here is kind of interesting. I don't know if this is the way it's supposed to be, but Vegeta says, he's much stronger than I thought he'd be, and might be even stronger still. But then it's supposed to cut, I guess, to Trunks saying, so what's the plan? And then it goes backwards to Vegeta saying don't have one. I just thought that was a very interesting way to panel that. So Vegeta marks that this guy's power right now, the power that he's using at this very moment to kick Vegeta's ass, is only marginal of what he's fully capable of. That means that, I mean, he's capable of so much more. So when he gets mad, his power gets way stronger, like at an exponential rate, meaning that, yeah, I mean, all of them combined really have nothing that can really come up against with him, and so they are a complete disadvantage without Goku, I would say. So Goten asks, so what then? And Vegeta responds with, without Kakarot, like our options are very limited. But then he starts coming up with a game plan. He says that if the three of them can gain his attention for a full minute, he's got a plan. Piccolo says making him angrier does not seem like the play, but with all three of them, they could probably buy him a full minute, if not a little bit more than that. And so if they do that, then Vegeta may have a way to defeat him. So we continue the story with Vegeta saying that he may have a way to defeat Rigger, and we're getting into familiar territory where it's almost like the Buu arc in Dragon Ball Z, where Goku needed like you know, a minute, but then he like is like, if he fumbled, he's like, oh no, I need longer than that to be able to like garner enough strength to defeat Buu. Vegeta's saying the exact same thing. He needs a minute to come up with this plan to defeat Rigor. And Vegeta says not only do that, not only like stall him for a minute, but at the exact same time shoot him up into the air and make sure he's like somewhere in the air, because if he launches this attack or whatever toward Earth, it's gonna crack the Earth in two. And so they need to like figure out a way to push this guy into the air. And these are 3 dudes, 2 of which have had no training really recently. Like one of them has been dating, one of them has a CEO. So I don't understand how they're going to be able to get Rigor off his feet when he's this powerful, or at least into the air, unless Rigor does that voluntarily. So Rigor's girl realizes that they're making a plan, something to be able to defeat Rigor, and Rigor realizes that, yeah, they are, and the best plan for you is to not be anywhere near here. And so she's like, okay, no problem, just make sure you keep your temper under control. But the fact that he's, you know, having so much care for her, it's not something that you see that often, especially in Dragon Ball, where they have the villain has somebody that they're gonna be like looking after that's so sweet and so innocent. And so it just kind of like pulls you in the direction that like Rigor's not really a bad guy. He actually may have a point. He's just trying to get revenge. He's got revenge consuming him, but he's still trying to get revenge validly, in my opinion, on Vegeta for killing his mother. But on the flip side, Piccolo is like, okay, we'll get you that minute, we'll get you in the air. And Vegeta having the modesty in having all these non-Saiyans, non-pure Saiyans really, one of them which is his son, but still help him out at this degree, and entrusting them to make sure that he can come off with the W at the end of this, is honestly like really inspiring to see. It's something that you don't see that often, and it's something that is really good to see Vegeta's character go through. It makes sense for somebody who's gone through so much character development through Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball GT to eventually be like this. Still looking out for Sapari, the shit is about to go down with Piccolo saying, Goten, Trunks, time for the big guns, which means the fusion technique, which is the fusion technique. I know we're all tired of the fusion technique, but realistically guys, come on. What are Trunks and Goten going to do on their own? Their best plan is to go into fusion to get Gotenks out here, because that means their power is not only doubled, but it's also multiplied. Piccolo attacks alone, which kind of throws Rigor off because he knows how strong Piccolo is. And when Piccolo punches Rigor, it's like, you know, that's all you got kind of thing. Like, oh, all right, I guess this is all you brought to the table, Piccolo. You should have brought a little bit more. That's all you got. That's all you got. Piccolo takes the opportunity, the fact that Rigor's not really fighting back, to just punch Rigor as often as possible, as much as possible, with as much strength as he's got, which is not that much strength, but is enough to knock Rigor a little bit around. I don't like this panel at all, for obvious reasons. The one with his eye shaking around like this, but it makes sense. But Rigor's like, I've had enough, and I don't like this panel either, so I've had enough as well, and Rigor punches Piccolo right in the face. So Piccolo's head basically explodes into the ground. I don't know if he's still in contact, I don't know if he's dead, I don't know what the hell's going on. He could be dead, I have no idea. But with one foe down, another one shows its face, and this gave enough time for Gotenks to make the scene. And I like the fact that Gotenks is saying that he's the Grim Reaper of Justice, which is kind of cool, I guess, but I don't know. Super Saiyan 3, before we continue into this chapter, Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks at this level, it should be a much needed match for someone like Rigor, because of the fact that, again, these are 2 adults, they're not children anymore, and they've amplified and doubled and amplified again their power by fusing together. Now the fusion may not last very long, because this is not like, you know, a Potara fusion, or at least the DBZ Potara, but it'll last long enough for him to be able to harm him enough, at least 1 minute's worth. But honestly, he should still be a pretty good fight, even though the fact that he's not, you know, at least Super Saiyan 4 or anything. So of course Sapari is the only one paying attention. The fact that Gotenks is like, you know, one guy now, and Piccolo, his face is still fine, he's just a little bit beat up. But it seems that the reality of the situation is that Gotenks has not changed his attitude whatsoever. He still has the exact same attitude he did back when he was a child. So yeah, he hasn't really upgraded that at all. He's still kind of like the same. Honestly, I don't know. It is what it is. Gotenks is a character that is what it is. And with that, Vegeta begins to charge up some sort of Final Flash, something that looks very much not like the normal Final Flash that we know of. And the other two are attacking Rigger, who's getting pissed off at the fact that they're double teaming him. But they're not going to be pissed off for long because Rigger quite easily again takes out Piccolo. But the fact that Piccolo took that first beating like a champ, it speaks volumes as to how durable Piccolo actually is. But now that we're seeing that he's getting thrown around like a ragdoll, it also shows how powerless he is against somebody of the caliber as Rigger. Now, if we had Orange Piccolo in this mess, I do believe that Orange Piccolo would be more than enough to face off against Rigger. Piccolo again has his face right in the dirt and he's got his ass beat again, but this time at least Gotenks is going to try to save the day in some level, some fashion, jumping in the nick of time. I like the electricity running around him. It makes him seem more powerful. I'm not exactly sure how powerful he is compared to Rigger. And yes, this is exactly what I wanted to see. I wanted to see Gotenks be formidable because with the cheating of the fusion, I guess, in this kind of 1v1, it would make sense for Gotenks to be far stronger, or at least at the same level as Rigger. And Rigger cannot catch Gotenks to save his life. And not only not catch Gotenks, but at the same time, he's got to endure Gotenks talking so much shit to him as he's not catching him. But as they're fighting, and they're doing it pretty evenly, Piccolo tries to special beam cannon him from the back, but he just kind of smacks it out of the way because, you know, it's just special beam cannon from a very normal, average, everyday Piccolo, so it's not something that's going to actually hurt him very much. And so Piccolo is still surprised that he smacked the special beam cannon, which he shouldn't be because of how much he's gotten his ass beat up to this point. Even Gotenks is like, don't even worry about me, I got this. I at least got this for 30 minutes, let alone 1 minute. So go protect Vegeta because Vegeta's charging up an attack that he needs to unleash against Rigger as fast as possible. And I like the fact that Sapara is the one that's actually scanning Vegeta's power and saying that his energy as ki is actually tripling from what it was before, which makes me want like more users that have scouters in Dragon Ball. Like I wish we got more of those in Dragon Ball. Hopefully we do get something maybe like in Dragon Ball Daima, because they are going around the universe. There should be some guy with a scouter, but I just love scouters so much. It's like my favorite Dragon Ball item of all time. But to be honest, I don't know. Gotenks is doing a really good job fending off Rigger. He may be the one that, you know, they needed, and the only one that is needed to face off against this guy, because he's tanking his hits, he's avoiding them, he's rebuffing them, he's attacking with his donut attack, and it's catching. Like everything that Gotenks is doing right now is literally landing on this guy. So it would seem that just the doubling and multiplying of this transformation through fusion is enough to handle somebody as brutally powerful as Rigger. And it's so funny because Gotenks is like, I didn't think this would actually work on you, because he's actually got him binded up. You see that? He's got him trapped completely 100%. And Rigger's just pissed off that he even got trapped like this. And Gotenks is like, I mean, you weren't a match for my genius, so it is what it is. But he's still kind of surprised that Rigger would handle being bound like that with ki for so long. But it looks like Rigger's time to handle this is completely over with. Even Piccolo yelling to get away from him, because more than likely he's about to implode or explode and destroy everything around him. And finally, Gotenks gets a taste of his own medicine, with Rigger breaking through the donut, grabbing him by the mouth, and punching him right in the face, directly punching him into the ground. This, I mean, probably maybe in manga terms has gone well past a minute, but in reality this has been like at least 5 minutes already of them holding him off. So Vegeta should theoretically have enough power to take out Rigger with whatever attack he's loading. So Gotenks is completely dismantled, and yeah, Rigger has come out the stronger man. That 1 minute's looking a lot longer right now, and Piccolo's ready to use any attack that he can to try to slow Rigger down at any point, any level. But he's finally realizing that yeah, they're at their limit right now, so he's yelling, how much longer do you have, Vegeta? Like, this is taking forever. Finally, when Rigger realizes this was a distraction, he is a little bit too late, because Vegeta is done with his attack. So done, in fact, to such a problematic attack that Sapari is like, this power level is way too high for this attack, something I've never seen before. I mean, her scouter hasn't exploded, but I don't know if those are designed to be that way. And so she yells. She doesn't use the scouter anymore. She yells at Rigger that he needs to watch out from Vegeta's greatest attack, which is Final Atomic Shine. This attack on the way in transit to hit Rigger destroys every single piece of tangible ground around it and is heading straight toward Rigger in a panel flashing that looks like the attack is heading straight for him, getting closer and closer, and Rigger seemingly really has no way of combating this. And the destruction is absolute. You can hear it miles away, all the way in Pan's classroom. And this hole left behind by the attack is just massive. It is not only massive, deep, expertly crafted. This is the attack to end all attacks, and I love the name of it. Everybody is shocked at the level of destruction of this attack and how strong it was, Sappari herself included. It's unclear whether this attack was launched toward the air or not. I really couldn't tell, besides Rigger floating. I don't remember how he got up there. He must have just dodged out of the way up there and not really seen the attack coming, because it seems like a really massive attack that's powering up and you should probably avoid it. But this attack is able to basically knock out Vegeta. Vegeta is completely gone. With Vegeta gone, Gotenks not being there, they are sitting ducks over there in this universe. So we now follow the story on the aftermath of Vegeta's final attack, the Atomic Shine attack, and it actually is pretty devastating what he did, not only to where Rigger were standing, but everything in the area. But the one cool thing that is added to this scene is that Piccolo mentions that it's hard to sense anything at all right now, and he can't sense any ki. So to me, I get the feeling that after such a devastating attack that had such high ki, maybe unstable ki, just rampant in the area, and the fallout of that means that it is hard to sense other people's ki mixed together in it. It's something that we don't really think about in Dragon Ball, but it's something that's really interesting that's added here. And this point is pushed even further when Sappari's scouter is not working. It can't read anything, and she thinks that it's dead, but it's a possibility that now, with the mixture of the fallout from the attack and just the devastating loss of the area, it is possible that you really can't feel anything, and you can't sense anything, and you can't see anything with the scouter. And after the fight with Rigger, Gotenks has disassembled back to Goten and Trunks, and they are saying that they don't really remember anything that happened when they were fused together, but it looks like Vegeta, he may have accomplished it, even though Piccolo says this waringly, because he knows, especially in Dragon Ball, there's a possibility that this guy is still alive. But Piccolo knows also that Vegeta, he doesn't have much in the gas tank left. He completely wasted his reserves, and right now he is at his weakest, most vulnerable state, because he doesn't have any more ki, and he needs Goten and Trunks to go pick him up. This attack was so powerful that it was felt all the way on the other side of the universe at the Supreme Kai's planet, and we see here that I was correct. Goku and Gohan are both on the planet. Gohan did not go back to a life of studying. He's training with his father on the world of the Kais, and he thinks that, you know, with the training that's going on, and they all can feel exactly what just happened, to the point where Oob's like, maybe Vegeta's training a little bit too hard on Earth. But Goku is like, no, that's not it. He feels something, and that is when the Elder Kai cuts them off, because he's been waiting for them to stop and slow down so he can relay the message that Vegeta needs their help, that Earth is in trouble. To the point where Goku finally asks Elder Kai, so what's going on Earth, even though, like, who knows how much time has passed since this message has not been relayed, and, you know, they ended up trying to press the Goku button to bring him back. But back on Earth, we see that Vegeta actually is still conscious, but this won't save him from the wrath of Sappari, who's crying, who's coming at him, and is willing to probably kill him herself. And she may actually be strong enough at this point, because Vegeta is far weaker right now and frailer than he ever has been after that attack. Now I get it. Sappari is having a meltdown because her husband just got killed right in front of her, right before her eyes. At least she thinks so. And she's taking it out on Vegeta. Even though Piccolo's trying to go to bat for Vegeta, she yells at him like, I can't believe how stupid I was. I was starting to think you had changed. But, like, I mean, Sappari, he challenged Vegeta. He threatened Vegeta's family, Earth, and he threatened to kill Vegeta in cold blood. Like, Rigger literally would not let it go, regardless of how good and goody two-shoes Vegeta was, how much he's changed. There was no way that Rigger was gonna let that slide. And she digs in even deeper by saying, I was wrong, you're the same monster you've always have been. It's like, no, he hasn't. He may be a monster in fighting, but at the same time, he tried to stop this fight several times over, or at least pull back from the fight to figure out, like, can we meet on common ground? Like, I didn't really, I didn't mean to beat you up, and he probably didn't remember that he killed his mom, all this stuff, but Rigger was not having it. So the fact that Sapari's coming at him, I understand that she is distraught right now, but all her line of yelling and accusations, they don't make any sense. And she says exactly what I was saying, that she's like, you know what, I'm just gonna kill you myself. And honestly, she may be able to kill him herself because of how weak he is right now. But I mean, Piccolo, Goten, and Trunks, all of them combined, I don't think that they would let that happen. Even though she's supposedly stronger, or a strong Saiyan, I don't think she's strong enough to take all of them down. But at that moment, we get the signaling that I was waiting for, because I knew for a fact Rigger's not dead. It doesn't make any sense for this series to keep going if Rigger is down at the bottom of that grave. And it looks like his power level is finally resurfaced, and it's not like he's dead, he's very much alive. And in a spectacular superhero entrance, Rigger shoots out of the crater and lands right in front of them. But when he lands, it looks like, yeah, he isn't the same Rigger from before, because if you look at this correctly, it looks like he's got some fur on his shoulders, meaning that there is a possibility that he went a Super Saiyan 4 variant, or Super Saiyan 4, and it's obviously Rigger because Sapari is yelling that it is Rigger. So yeah, this is not the end of this fight whatsoever. I'm not sure how they're going to keep this going with Vegeta out for the count and not being strong enough to face off against Rigger's even previous forms. So Rigger is Super Saiyan 4. Now, whether he was able to go Super Saiyan 4 before or not, I don't know. I guess we'll find out right here if this is the secret transformation that he was talking about. But before, he was using some sort of like legendary transformation. So him being in Super Saiyan 4 and everybody being shocked, this could be a possibility that the attack pushed him into going into Super Saiyan 4 to save his life. But just the design of him in Super Saiyan 4, to be honest, I think this looks better than the original transformation design, because this looks almost like it's a Super Saiyan 4 Raditz, in my opinion. So Rigger is a surprise as anybody that, he's still among the living. And when Sapari runs into his arms, he still hasn't lost the fact that he's like very nurturing with her. I'm sorry that I worried you. I apologize for that. But after he sees what's left of Vegeta, he goes on his little monologue and he says that even though I thought you got me with that one, only my master has ever hit me hard enough to force me into my assault form. In that regard, you have my respect. So he's got a master that we don't know of, and he calls Super Saiyan 4 his assault form, which is a really cool way to say Super Saiyan 4, in my opinion. That's really, really cool. Assault form. That's awesome. Almost makes you think that Ultra Instinct is the defense form. And Rigger is ready to clean this up because it looks like he doesn't really even need the assault form for Vegeta now, and he just goes right back into his previous form, which was the Super Saiyan variant that he had, because now he realizes that Vegeta is basically gassed out. He's got nothing left. None of them do. There's nothing else that they can do, and basically it's time for Goku to swap in to save the day. And speak of the devil, we cut right to Goku, who is looks like he's healed up 100%. He has one senzu bean. Gohan says that Vegeta needs that senzu bean now more than ever, and maybe they'll do fusion. If they do fusion, I think Goku and Vegeta against Rigger, I think just based on the power level that's been on display between all of these characters, I think that a fusion, like a Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, would definitely be strong enough to defeat Rigger. And with Goku ready to go, Rigger is also ready to go. He literally just starts walking right toward Vegeta. He's gonna make good on his promise where he told Vegeta, like, I want you to realize that you could have never won this. Give me everything that you have, because I am going to take it, tank it, and send it all back to you. And that's exactly what's about to happen here. Unfortunately, Trunks, Goten, and Piccolo are about to get caught in the crossfire. And this is my favorite panel right here. This is my favorite page where Trunks literally jumps in front of Vegeta and says no. Like, he stands there defiantly against this monster and he's like, you will not hurt my dad. I'm going to protect them. And Vegeta yells at him, nah, you gotta move out of the way, man. He is too much for you. He's going to destroy you and you're not gonna get destroyed right in front of me. Vegeta is obviously, he's treating this grave situation with the seriousness that it deserves. Even though Rigger is like, just move, boy, move or be moved. Again with the one-liners. I love Rigger. And Trunks is not moving. He transforms into a Super Saiyan with a ponytail and he's ready to rock and roll. And then he drops another gem on us. He says that, but if this is your choice, your staunch defiance in defense of him is admirable. You remind me of my son. So he has a kid, which means that besides these two, there's a third pure-blooded Saiyan out there. And I'm like wondering, like, how old's the kid? Where is he at? Why didn't he come to this revenge? Like, why didn't he come help his father? If he's big enough to kind of defend his father in this way, to have Trunks remind Rigger of his own son, that means that his son must be, I mean, older. And so I'm wondering why they didn't bring him and where he's at right now. So Rigger throws that haymaker, that very famous One Punch Man punch, the one that's about to just destroy Trunks. And before it strikes, someone catches it, and obviously you can tell who it is. And I love this introduction to Goku. Not only is Goku brought in as a savior, somebody that defending his friends and family and saves Trunks' life just now, but at the same time, everybody, all his friends are shocked, but even Rigger is kind of shocked, like, who the hell is this? And Zipari's scouter is going off because he's so powerful that Goku had to match the strength of Rigger, who is now in his Super Saiyan transformation, to be able to catch that fist. So it all kind of works beautifully to show that Goku is extremely powerful compared to everybody else, and he may be the fight that Rigger has been asking for. This is how you have a serious yet goofy Goku that is childlike yet adult-like. This right here, Dragon Ball Super, take note. So it's not even just Goku who came in, it's Oob and Gohan also. And when Goku grabs the punch, he's like, yo. And you can tell, like, this is like a very happy-go-lucky type of Goku. Everybody else is serious besides him, so it's very much like Dragon Ball Super. But at the same time, you can see the little sweat going down his face because he wasn't sure, more than likely, if he was going to be able to catch that fist in time before it did some serious damage to Trunks. This is how you introduce your MC. This is how Goku should be treated, with respect, because he is childlike, but at the same time, he knows how to be serious and he knows when to be serious. And of course, everybody's ecstatic to see Goku here. Finally, we have the MC has returned. He's here to handle business. And Rigger's like, come on, man. Like, where are you guys coming from? I can't lift up a rock around this planet to find somebody that is willing to step into this fight. Goku jumps right in to, again, Rigger's strength. He's like, you're the guy making all the fuss. I can tell that you really are strong. Like, this comes off as Goku, even he's still like worried about the situation, but he's marveling over the strength of Rigger. But Rigger is getting so frustrated now because the guy who he thought was a monster actually not only has a family, has friends, but it seems like every single person on this planet is willing to give themselves up to save Vegeta. So what does that say about Vegeta and how much he's changed? And Vegeta is happy to see Goku, and I mean, he's trembling here when he's saying this because he almost just saw his son's life flash before his eyes, fashionably late as usual, Kakarot. And this name is what piques Rigger's interest. Kakarot, that's a Saiyan name. And Rigger doesn't care anymore. He doesn't care if there's like a million Saiyans against him. He doesn't care if he's got to go against the entire Saiyan army. He's like, are you all gonna come at me? All you guys are gonna do this just for one guy? Like, I only want one guy. Let me run this fade. Let me get my man. And then you guys can just like live free. Like, I don't even have to destroy the planet or nothing. I just kill this guy and I'll leave. Like, I'm out of here. Like, I like the motivation of Rigger and the threat that he poses on Earth, because it's literally singularly just to Vegeta, and it's not some evil plan to take over the universe or something. Goku's like, not all at once, just me. And then he looks at Vegeta, it's like, well, man, he did a number on you. You've seen better days, haven't you, Vegeta, man? I'd hate to be in your shoes. Vegeta's like, shut up, Kakarot. Goku says he only has one more senzu bean, and they all kind of like, well, just give it to Vegeta because he's really the only one with you that can cause any issues for this guy. Like, you guys are the only ones that are in the same league as him. And when they see Vegeta eat the senzu bean, Sappari immediately notices that Vegeta's power level literally goes back to the way it was. And I'm wondering, like, Gohan, you know, Gohan probably is strong enough to kind of tangle with these guys. Like, I wish in Dragon Ball GT they did more with him. I'm glad that in this he's at least training, but in Dragon Ball GT they didn't do anything with him. And I'm sure Goku's going to want to fight him alone at least for a little bit. And he tells everybody they need to get out of here because they're going to, you know, go all out, and it's going to be tough if there is collateral damage. Vegeta's not so sure even together that they can destroy or, you know, end up defeating Rigger because of the fact that, you know, he's just so powerful. He took Vegeta down and he still had more strength. So more than likely we're going to be seeing a fusion here, in my opinion, if they really can do it together separately. And yeah, they're basically going to let everybody else kind of slide out of here while they decide what they're going to do and what their game plan is. But I'm wondering, like, how, if you guys are going to defeat this guy, he doesn't change his mind, you're going to have to kill him. And if you're going to kill him, then you're going to have not only Sappari, who is going to be really upset at you, but he's got a son, and the son probably has his genes, and his son could come back for revenge after they kill the dad. So I'm wondering how this is going to end, if Rigger is going to be just changing his mind at the very end of it instead of getting destroyed. Everybody else leaves, and Rigger is just curious. Like, he asks, why are you guys all risking your lives for this man who's caused so much pain, so much suffering, so much death and destruction across the galaxy for so many different people? He's destroyed so many different families. I mean, he didn't say all this, but I'm just saying, like, this is all the stuff Vegeta has done. Rigger's just curious, like, why are you guys all doing this? Like, are you guys as bad as he is, basically? Like, or are you guys just that stupid? And Goku gives the answer that he's been giving for a while, and you know, it's the answer for Vegeta, which makes sense. And honestly, it is a good answer. He did those things a long time ago, and he will have to live with the fact that he's done those things, you know, for the rest of his life. But he's changed. Everybody can change. He's changed up to this point. He's not the same Vegeta as he was, even though he can be a jerk sometimes. He is really, really a good guy. And Rigger's like, so you won't leave then? But Goku's excited. He's like, no, this is like the only time that I'll get to fight a pure-blooded Saiyan. And as we saw in DBS Broly, Goku is going to jump at the chance to fight a pure-blooded Saiyan every second that he can get. So he wants to see what kind of techniques he's got, what kind of transformations he's got. He wants to fight Rigger. He's more excited to fight Rigger than he is at defending Vegeta. But Rigger does not like that line of thinking, like, this is a fun game. You think this is, like, just for your amusement? You think I'm here, I'm a fucking clown? Like, no. Like, if you want to stand by his side, you will fall by his side as well. I'm going to take you down as well with the same ferocity that I would take him down. Because for Rigger, this is personal. It's not a game. This is something that he needs to, you know, be able to complete to find some peace and be able to sleep. So Goku asks, how do you want to do this? And Vegeta says, if you want to live, you go all out. Don't go through all the transformations. Just go to the end and show him everything you have. And Goku's like, that's not my style, obviously, but he's like, I'll make it work. Don't worry, I'll try it. And so he starts harnessing his ki, and they both transform to Super Saiyan 4 in a transformation sequence that looks kind of like when Goku and Vegeta transformed into their ultimate forms fighting Gas. And Rigger's starting to get worried because if they both have the quote-unquote assault form, and he barely survived Vegeta's last attack without being able to transform because he had to, he may need to transform to his ultimate form to face off against two of them. And so Rigger does, transforming into his assault form, which is what I'm going to be calling Super Saiyan 4 from now on, and they stare at each other across the field. If this was a DBZ episode, this would be 10 episodes right here, just them staring at each other, and then Goku and Vegeta are the ones that end up attacking Rigger this time, as opposed to Rigger attacking Goku and Vegeta and getting the drop on them first. But it looks like Rigger was about to do the exact same thing. You see his fist, the way it's going, but he didn't get a chance, so he wasn't quick enough. And that is the end of today's chapter, guys. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this chapter of Dragon Ball New Age. I'll have the next chapter as soon as possible. It's going to be BlackScape signing off. Take care, guys.
Subscribe for more content.